I just showered and got ready, and I'm still eating my breakfast. So that's what's happening this morning.
I love that. I think you did great.
I know it was just one of those mornings. I don't know. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm fine. Just here.
That is, you're always, that's a constant, Amanda. Like, I'm fine. It's
I'm
fine.
fine. Yeah,
It's just
I'm
funny.
here.
Like a slight annoyance in the air.
Always. Yeah, never content ever.
I don't know if you caught like what I haven't really talked to you as much this week, I don't think, but I don't know if you caught like my that one video that blew up on TikTok this week with my combo of ending things with you know who.
Yeah.
And so I'm like firmly landed in this opinion as I do, as I falter all the time of twin flames aren't real.
Okay.
I think the journey is real, but
Yeah.
I think ultimately we're not stuck with them is where I've landed. Where are you at this week on that?
So I feel like it's funny because I was thinking about that because like we had talked about it like a little bit, and I know you go through those phases where you're like, no, it's like not a thing, like whatever. So it's so like I don't know where I land. I don't think I've ever really like landed in any one like on one team or like one side because
Yeah.
I remember like you were the first person to ever say like he's your like he's your
Did
twin.
I? I hate that though. Why did I do that?
It was you like 18 months ago, so just to take you back to where you were at.
I hate 18-month old ago me because I would never, I hate when people do that to people. But
Yeah,
okay, sorry, carry
it was.
on.
And it was funny because like in the like looking back at it now, like in the moment when you said that to me, it was like this. I was like relieved. I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why this is like
Hmm.
tormenting me. And it's almost like,
Yeah.
okay, like that's the reason. But I don't care for that to
Yeah.
be the reason. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not
Yes.
that didn't like mean something to me other than it um like was like a sense of relief that like because in that at that time I was so overwhelmed with everything that I was like, okay, that at least is like the reason or like the excuse for like why this is happening to me. But like
Yeah.
it's, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's definitely something. I don't know if it's a like a twin flame. Like I don't know if that's what I would
Yeah.
subscribe to, but it's something I'm stuck with for sure. Like
I think, well, and that's, I just, like I said this on the last episode of podcast when I interviewed Jill, but like, I just think it is what we know it to be. Like, we've done a bunch of lives with this person. We have a bunch of mirroring trauma. We have matching imprints from past life trauma in this life. And so they are a mirror for our own healing. Like, I don't, that's the whole thing. I'm not saying I'm not a twin flame. I'm saying twin flames in general are not a thing. Because I've never, since I learned shamanic healing and learned how to journey past lives and do work on an individual soul, like from that day forward, I was like, yeah, we are not one soul. We are two separate souls. And here's how I know why. Because do you remember this when I learned soul retrieval specifically? So
yeah,
that is the theory that trauma in a life splinters off a piece of the soul, right? And it's left in that life for safekeeping. And then, so anyone that walks a shamanic path and knows how to do this soul retrieval and bring it back to you, and then that part of you is healed. And you've had, how many of those have you had done? Didn't I do?
we did one or two.
Okay.
We definitely did one for sure.
I, as someone who's had those done, those soul retrievals are pivotal, right? In your healing.
Mhm.
Like, so if we are one soul and we have matching imprints, this is how this was going to be my test when I learned it. I'm like, if we are one soul and we have matching imprints, when I do my soul retrieval on this one hook, that same hook will be healed with him moving
Right.
forward. And it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yep.
And it
And I,
wasn't.
and I totally get that too because I know we've had because I'm super like skeptical or what like I'm an eye roller to you all the
I
time.
know
But
you are.
there have been times where you're like, well, if you're doing it, then he's doing it. I'm like, he's not. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's not, or we would be in a totally different place. Like, no, like I don't believe it. Like it's just
Yeah.
and sometimes that's me in the moment, just like being, difficult. But it's also like, no, like if he healed the same way I did or like felt the same way I did, like we wouldn't be it wouldn't be this difficult, you know?
Yeah, I think we're all mirrors, but time isn't real in those mirrors, right? So sometimes
Mhm.
they're an old version of us, or sometimes they're ahead of us. And but in the same way, everyone is like we are mirrors for each other, right?
Mhm.
Like it doesn't mean that you're all doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
but it means there's something you're supposed to look at. That's where you always roll your eyes.
Yeah. Like, no, just forget it.
But sometimes you're supposed to look at it and just like I have a thing where I really don't drink anymore. And like I drink on my birthday. I drink once or twice a year and I drink way too much and then I don't drink again. That's really what happens. Um, but I used to drink all the time and I have a hook and an imprint of alcohol stuff in my family. My family all has complicated some of them they don't think they do, but like there's a lot of drinking complications in my opinion. That being said, I meet people all the time who have that hook, who have that thing. And you could say, well, Angie, you're in Wisconsin, everyone drinks. But not everyone does, but everyone I date or every new friend I make has like a thing with it. So it's not always there for me to, or I meet someone who's like a recovering alcoholic. Like it doesn't mean I need to do anything with it. But for me, I'm just like, oh, there's my alcohol thing. That's one of my
Mhm.
main hooks.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Like it just comes up. So it's like also I'm emotional inavailability.
Yeah. I think we all see that. I think that's everyone.
No, it's not though, but it's one of your hooks. So you see it. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? There's people that you could encounter and they'd be like, what? No, I don't ever. Like every guy I date works so much that he can't find time to find me. Or they whatever. They're not every, but like that's been a theme for me because I am emotionally checked out as a person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm a little worried about you, but yeah,
I'm,
that's
I'm
good.
I've healed that, but it's still in me, so it's still gonna come up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
know. It's annoying. The whole thing is annoying.
It
Like,
is. It's so annoying. That's that's all it's ever been. That's what I mean. I think it was like a relief in that moment, and now I'm like, okay, well, it's annoying. Like this is
yes, there's one thing. So your story arc, my favorite thing about your story arc and this whole thing is that I always tell, like, so any of my like divine feminine clients, and I hate even doing that anymore because we're all just people, whatever. I think we need balance, masculine and feminine energy. But there is true in this like in the archetype of the divine feminine in this twin flame journey. Um, I always tell people like you have to get a life. And I know I've said this to you, and I said it to me like because and you and I both before we found this new life we're in now, we're like, I have a life. I don't understand what's wrong. But I think you're another like me, you're another person who just like randomly through by doing the work manifested a whole bunch of weird shit and here you are.
yeah. Yeah, I remember you telling me that and I was like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, I have a life, and I think now like I've been so busy and just like really like I keep my calendar busy and I like schedule like classes and I like do things for myself and I kind of get it now. But like
Yeah,
in the moment I was like, I don't know what that means. Like I have
I
a
know.
life, I'm doing things, but I think it's just doing more. I think was like the difference. But I remember you kept telling me that and I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. I was like, I can't have more of a life than I currently have because I didn't feel like I was, and I still don't think I was like waiting or like sitting around. It's just different now.
I would say before I got a life, I wasn't really engaging. I don't know. I was numb to a lot of everything I was doing, and I had a
Mhm.
lot of fear, and I was filling time.
Mhm.
I I can't explain it, but it was different. And I know this could may trigger a lot of people, but I posted a lot more on social media. I was like, I posted everything I did in life on, and you can say, well, Andrew on TikTok, yeah, but I don't share it. Like, my Snapchat feed used to just be you guys knew everything I did all day, and Facebook and Insta. So like, and it was all just because I wanted people to understand me and pay attention to me, like, and I don't, it just feels the energy behind which I lived my life felt different. And so the things that got drawn into my life were different. And once I aligned kind of those things and realized who I was and didn't need to like prove to anyone anymore, I could say what came to me was much better. And now it's filled with very different things.
Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. Because I kind of feel the same way. I was like doing things but just to do them.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was doing things to enjoy them. I was just like doing things to do it. And I remember there was like a stint in time, I remember I kept telling you, I was like, I am so bored. And that's like when you were telling me to get a life, I'm like, but I'm doing so many things. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, I'm doing so
Uh,
many things. It's just not things that I like enjoyed doing. But I was like, and I'm bored out of my fucking mind. Like
I
I can't,
know.
like, what am I doing? Like I'm so like I'm so bored.
Yeah.
And it was bored, and like I think I wasn't um like appreciating where I was in the moment. I was just worried about like where I wanted to be. And like that's why I was bored.
Yes.
I was
That's the
like,
gem.
yeah, I was like, okay, well, I'm bored because I'm not doing things that I want to be doing. Like this isn't what I want my life to be like, but I wasn't appreciating like the time that I had to do what I was doing. And now I
Yeah.
feel very good about like what I do every day and like what my schedule looks like and my routine, and like I feel good about.
Yeah. Oh, you cut out a little. I think it's internet. Like, oh no, are you there? Can I hear you? There you are. Now I can hear you again.
Perfect.
I
Good.
don't know what
Okay.
happened. But
That's okay.
yeah, I think talk me. So you had a big career change too. I guess tell that story of how that, because I
Yeah,
think that's wild, especially with like the numbers part of it.
yeah, it was so weird because I was working at home, and that was the first time that I had worked at home. I did that for almost 2 years.
Because
Like,
of COVID, right?
well, no, I actually
Or
like got a new job that happened to be at home, but
that job was from home before. Okay.
it was during COVID, so like it was all the same time, but it was like a permanent work from home situation. But I was working at home and I was just really bored, so I got, because I worked in retail for 1,000 years, so I was bored and I got a part-time job just like to move because like
Yeah.
I was bored out of my mind. So I like went and got a part-time job, and that turned into like a really awesome job offer. And it was funny because I remember when I got the job and I told you about it, the my salary, like what they offered me was a number that I kept like thinking about
Mm-hmm.
for my current job, because
Yeah.
I thought I was going to get promoted and I was like, this is the number. And then when I got my job offer for this new job, that was like the exact number that they offered me. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And that was over the summer. It was like in or spring. It was like April, May that happened.
Yeah.
And it's been great. It's been awesome. It was such a good change. I was scared. If not like scared, I've never been scared about jobs. That's like not
Yeah.
something that I really, not that I don't care about my job, but it's a job. Like it's fine.
It's not a hook. Yeah.
It doesn't like make me anxious. But it's been so great. And I think it's given me a lot of freedom, like in my schedule and like how I balance other things in my life. So it's been so great.
Yeah. What is a day? I think you're more like me that like your days are filled with things for yourself. Like what is a day? Like what does your schedule look like? Like what are days look like? Like walk me through a timeline.
Oh gosh. Um, I try to, so I'm type A in the sense of like everything's on my calendar. My
Yeah.
calendar is color coded. I like do
I
like
love this.
I book everything like usually like a week at a time. Like I book like everything that I need to do. So I've been spinning, I've been going to Pilates. So like those are two things that I book
Yeah.
like ahead of time, and I usually book them with my best friend, and we like go and do those things together as much as we can based on
Yeah.
like our schedules. Um I've been, oh gosh, what else have I been doing? I've been going to do like cryotherapy and like an infrared sauna thing. So I do
Yeah.
that once a week. And I kind of book all of those things for myself first and then like
Hmm.
work my other things like into it as best I can. I mean, my
Yeah.
job's super, it's very flexible, which is awesome, in the sense that like I make my own schedule and like prioritize my own things. But if something comes up, like I can easily move
Yeah.
anything that I need to. But I kind of plan it like 1 week at a time, and I keep myself busy.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But it's full too. It's not just like
Yeah.
busy for this. And that's, I would say I'm less busy, but my life is very full. Like
Mhm.
It depends on seasons too. If I have a season where I'm having big emotions come up for me, like I have the past few weeks, I'm home just like moving that energy a lot more than I am,
Yeah.
I mean I think my schedule is different too because I have so my son is 9 and like I joke that like literally I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I just happen to do this work because that is the main part of my life right now. So it's like I have to every morning, even the mornings, I don't know if you know this, but so he's at his dad's Mondays and Friday nights. And then every other weekend we switch. So it's 50-50. But every morning, even when I don't have him, he gets dropped off at 6 a.m. by his dad's fiance because they both go to work. So I do drop off every morning. And
Hmm.
then, so like he comes home or he gets up and then I get ready and then I take him to school and then I spend don't laugh, but I just spend an hour on skincare, hair, and makeup.
I love
Because
that.
I love it too. It's part like my little self-care routine, but because I didn't take good care of myself and that affected my mental health a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So, and then I come down to the office and I start making content. And this is like my weekends are the same as my weekdays every day, but I love it. And then if I'm going to go live, I go live. And if I have one-on-ones, I have one-on-ones. But in between, like I am walking outside with Junie because there's a nature trail right in my backyard, and sometimes I go lay in the grass and breathe in the summer. Sometimes I go upstairs and just lay down, like in my living room and cry and breathe. Like honestly, because if feelings come up before, I used to be like, if I'm like I am so bored, I'm like, what is this really? What is this really? What are we really feeling? And I go get centered in it's meditation, but like I do it on my right side of my body in a little ball. And and I go in the most comfy place in my living room and then I let it come up and I feel it and I figure out what it really is. Like, oh, this is anxiety of not being chosen or whatever it is. And then I cry and move energy and breathe and in meditation until it's gone. And then I go wash my face and I come back down and I keep working because I'm better.
Okay. I mean, that's very healthy. I definitely don't do anything like that during the day, but I love that.
Well, I've been literally this past 3 years have just been healing. And since I quit my job in November, like that's what I talk about when people see me when I go live or I'm making content and they're like, oh my gosh, well, you know, I don't know how you like how do you strengthen your divination and how do you get clear with the messages from spirit? I'm like, because it's all I fucking do. It's like I
Mhm.
have to get rid of all my shit to be able to hold space for other people. So, and that's where now I haven't been dating for since July. So what is that, 3 months? And everything got sharper again because it's very hard for me to both carry like relationships with other people and continue to like heal myself and keep myself grounded enough to like do this work a little bit enough to be able to be home with my son right now. Do you know what I mean? Like it all comes together.
Yeah. I don't think any of my healing has been super conscious like that. Like, I think it's
Mm.
so great that you've done that and like you spend time like doing everything you're supposed to do. I don't think
Well,
I've
not really.
well, you do, but you do, like you just said, like, you cry on the floor every day. Like whatever. Like,
Not every day, but a lot of days. Yeah, some days. I
like
haven't
that's
yet today.
like I think that's great. Like I think it's good that you're like dealing with it. I don't think I've never like intentionally like set aside time to do that. I think other than like if I've had time with you. Like I think that's
Yeah.
really only intention. But I feel the end result is fine. So I don't know how it
Yeah.
happened, but it happened and and I feel good. But
Yeah.
I never like I don't lay on the floor and cry with if
Well,
I date.
we do it different ways. Yeah, but I'm missing that. I like stopped going to the gym. I used to be a gym person and like my weight is up and that's on my bucket list of things I need to look at like once I get over this next little healing hump. So, walks only get you so far. So like the spin and Pilates part, the fact that you've been doing that and like getting out with friends, like that's all important part of healing too. I think we all have different areas we need to work at. Like I used to have a really busy schedule like that where it was like yoga, spin class, like I did the same thing for a long time, but my son was in daycare while I was doing those things. And so I'm just in a season now where like he's 9
Hmm.
But he is the thing that I schedule first because when and that's the part I left out. Then when he's home, I don't do anything else. It's just what are we doing? Are we going to go to Dave and Buster's? Are we going to go for a walk? Are we going to, you know what I mean? Like, are we going to watch a movie and snuggle? So I think that's you said it that everyone in their scheduling has to decide what they're going to schedule first and then what they're going to work around it, right? But you've made like some of your healing stuff your priority, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I think I've just, like, I didn't feel, I just want, it was, I'm sorry, that was like not at all a sentence. It was like multiple things that I was thinking of.
That's how
Um,
I talk.
I, it's just something that makes me feel so much better. Like, I'm all about routine. So like if I put something, like you talked about, like your skincare routine, like
Yeah,
I do, but it has to be like a conscious part of my routine or I fall apart. Like I have to
yeah.
have, I'm very like, I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. Like I'm very like
Swords.
structured in that way. Um but even with like the classes I've been taking and like me feeling better about myself, one thing that I was actually at a spin class like last week, I think it was last week or the week before, and I thought I was going to cry in class because I we have like a cool down and like obviously like the lights are off and it's just like calming music and just kind of like coming back to center like at the end of the class. And the instructor was like, think about why you're here. And like usually I like
Hmm.
tune whatever they're saying out and I like don't really listen and I'm just like there. But I was like I like actually thought about why I was there. And I think part of my journey, like the past few years, is like when I was married and I was so depressed, like I didn't even realize how depressed I was. Like I gained so much weight
Hmm.
and I've
Same.
changed I've changed so much since then. And I was sitting there thinking in the class, like, why am I doing this? And I had like this overwhelming like realization that like I'm doing this because I want my outside to match my inside.
Mm,
Like my outside body is the same like it's definitely changed like it for sure over time, but like I don't want it to be the same person that
yeah.
like was sad all the time. Like I want it to feel like the person I am like internally. And I was like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna cry. It's been class. Like that's like not
Yeah.
I like didn't really think about it before. I was like, I'm just doing this to like feel better and like to keep myself in a routine. And I do feel so much better. But I think that's really
Yeah. That's beautiful. I know. I've had that thought a lot. I think because weight has always been a thing for me. Like my entire, I mean, I'm 43 now. Jesus. But I mean, like since I was 13, honestly, I was in Weight Watchers in eighth grade when I was 130 pounds. In eighth grade, I was in Weight Watchers. Anyway, so, but it's always been a thing, even when it wasn't a thing, is my point. And there's always that sense of, yeah, like it's when you feel like I think it's all a not being seen hook though too, because it's like people don't even know who I am. Remember that movie Shallow Hal? Did you? I don't know if you're too young to know this movie. Oh my God, it's an old movie. Okay, so if you're looking for one to watch, it was with Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow, like probably back in the 2000s. I don't know, but it was all about this guy who's like a fucking pig, and so they put like somebody puts a curse on him or something that he'll see people for their inside beauty, not their outside. And so there's this girl that's really heavy, and he falls in love with her, but he sees her like she's but Gwyneth Paltrow, because of her personality and stuff. And then and that movie fucked with me when that came out. I think I was in my 20s. It must have been the 2000s, but like, because that's always been a thing. It's like, I wish people could see, but sometimes we don't realize that we don't like ourselves in those moments. And that's why we kind of let some of it go. Not just weight, but all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's for me too, it's a balance of like like loving what my body got me through.
Yes.
It's like I don't want you to go, but it's time. Like you got to go, like
Yeah.
I love you. Like thanks for getting me through what you did, but
Yeah.
I'm not there anymore.
A lot of it's the energy too, because I'm the same weight now again. Like I had lost after my divorce and now I'm back up. So I'm kind of the same weight I was when I filed for divorce, but I don't look it. I look completely different still because the energy behind when you shift your energy and you do energy work like that, it's something about your auric field that shifts the way you look in general, where you just have that's when people call that the glow up. Like it's
Mhm.
because you stand back in your power and you're not sitting in a relationship that you know has been done for a long time.
Mhm.
Because you felt that shift after your divorce too, didn't you? Where you're just like, it's more about getting back to you.
Yeah, I think um it was I just didn't realize like how depressed I was until I wasn't.
Yes.
And all of a sudden I was like, I really just felt like I woke up one day and I was like, it's been how many years?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like I don't even like I still don't really remember like a lot of that time. And it's
Yeah.
and that's sad. Like I just didn't realize, until like I was
Yeah.
out of it.
So there's a shamanic explanation for why you don't remember. So life is, shaman believe that life happens in pachas or life cycles within a life. So you have a life here on Earth, and you have multiple lives on Earth. So there's imagine them all like big circles. Like this is your life as Manda, and then this is your next life and your next life. Well, within each one of those life, there's also life cycles within them. So the first one is usually birth to age 7,
Hmm.
and then 7 to maybe a high school, let's call it, whenever you transition to the next part of your life is another life cycle. And then whatever you do after high school until that ends is kind of a life cycle. So for a lot of us, it's college. Some of us, mine was probably like, just like, I don't know. Sometimes they're usually in 7 year chunks, but they can be shorter or longer for other people. But when you move into that next life cycle or pacha, it's like you're in a whole different world. You don't even remember that old life. That's when people say when the thing you just said, like I don't even remember it. Part of it might be trauma too because you like checked out. But honestly, truly, if it makes you feel better, it was just like it feels like a whole different person because it was. It was a different life cycle. So like my 20s were a life cycle of just going to work and going to the bar every night. That feels like a whole different life. Um, but at 29, I consciously chose to focus on healing for a while after a bad breakup and just kind of stayed in. And that started a different life cycle. You know what I mean? And then when I had Radley, when I was 33, that started a new life cycle of being a mother. So they all feel like completely different lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
No, it definitely makes sense. I think about that now too, even just like I think about since I like met you, like started working with you, like even the change in the past like year and a half is
yeah.
just like ridiculous. And it's not um again, like in the moment, I was like, I'm doing everything that I can do. And I think that was true. But now I'm like, I can't believe how much of my time or like my energy or like my thoughts were like consumed by this thing, even though I really
No.
didn't feel like I had control over it. Um, but now it's just different. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like intentional.
Meaning the guy as in the twin flame.
Yeah. Like it was just such an all-consuming thing for a while. And again, I don't think I did anything consciously or purposefully to like shift that. I think it's just
Yeah.
like time and learning and healing, but it wasn't like because I remember telling you I was like I don't want to think about this. Like I
Yeah.
don't want this to be like, this part of my day, but it was and now it's just different.
Yeah, where are you at? That's good to know because I literally like just shifted out of that a week ago when I had my last quantum healing with my teacher, or not quantum healing. Why did I say that? My last shamanic healing with my teacher. Like the waking up thinking about him every morning and just the obsession like finally ended. And I know what it was now is because of a particular past life situation that she healed, but like it was consuming and it drove me fucking crazy. I hated it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm glad that that ended. Like, where are you at then? Because I know you've even said like you don't want to date anyone else. You're just gonna focus on your life if it's not him, though. Like, do you still feel that way?
Yeah, like I think it's not that I think if I might have like a little bit of fear, but I'm really not like scared or opposed to meeting anybody. It's more just
Yeah.
like the eh, I don't have the time or like the
Yeah.
energy to do that. Like if someone asks me what my favorite color is, I swear to God, like I cannot, like I just can't do it. I'm not interested in recapping my whole life with another
Yeah.
person. I don't really care to learn about someone else's life like
You have
right now.
no more talking stages
Like,
left in you.
yeah, unless you're gonna marry me, like I don't want to talk to you. Like I just
That's how I
don't.
feel too. I'm
And
in I'm in that place too. Honestly, I am. And but on the favorite color thing, I've said this to you before. I have dated so much in the past 2 years. Like literally, I've probably been in the talking stage with like 100 guys in the past 2 years. Not once has anyone asked me my color, nor have I ever shared it. And if they did, I would just not answer because that's so fucking boring, Amanda.
I
You don't
mean,
have to talk about that.
that's what I mean.
But I
But
know.
you know me too. Like I'm not interested in like anything like surface level.
I
Like I
know.
just don't care. Like I don't care. I don't want to talk about work. I don't want to talk about what you do for a living. I don't want to talk about what I do. Like I just
Yeah.
don't. It's I just don't wanna. Like I just
What
don't want
is
to.
okay? Remind me, what is your astrology again?
Oh, so I'm a Scorpio sun. I'm
Uh-huh.
a Taurus rising, and I'm a Pisces moon.
Pisces moon, that's right. Because everyone,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. That explains so much. Do you know what your Venus is?
I don't. I
It's okay.
cannot. I don't.
It's okay. Well, so that explains a lot though too, because Pisces moons, you're just like, just fucking bare your soul and let's plan the wedding and move on with it. Like, we'll
Yeah.
share favorite songs, but that's it. Otherwise, I don't care.
Yeah. So, but I feel fine. Like I don't feel, I think, and I know I've shared this with you before too, like I don't need a partner. Like I'm
Yeah,
not somebody that feels like I need to be with anybody or like
yeah,
need that in my life. I think it's great, but I don't ever feel like that's needed. The only reason I feel like this is, and this is just me, the reason I feel like I need a partner is because I want children.
yeah, yeah,
Like I want a family, not just kids. Like so that's like it's like a transitive property of like of the end result. But
yeah,
I don't think I need a person with me. I need a person for my so like
yes,
um that's like the only thing that I feel like I need. And I think that's something for me, like my mom, like I have a very complicated relationship with my mom and
yeah,
I don't talk to her, but she cannot function without a person. Like she can't. Like
yeah,
she needs that. So I think like I just never, I don't know, psychologically if I just was like, well, I don't want to be like that or whatever. It wasn't like
yeah,
conscious. I just don't need that in my life. But she really like can't. So I think for me, it's like breaking a generational thing because I think her mom was like that too. So
yeah,
I'm glad I don't feel that way.
yeah.
Because if and when I do have kids, I hope they don't feel that way. Like because they don't need that.
So did she date a lot or was she with your dad or was she like, what was it?
Yeah. So my parents split up when I was a teenager, like I was like 12 or 13 maybe. Like
Yeah,
I was young. And then she was always with someone.
yeah,
Like it wasn't like a there were only like a few,
yeah,
at least in my time, like with her, but she was
yeah,
never single. Like she just needed like she needs a
yeah,
man to like be in her life.
yeah.
And I just don't like I don't. I'm fine.
I'm jealous because that's what I, no, like that's what I've been working on recently for
Yeah.
me. And that literally, it's funny. So it's funny you said that because in your true Scorpio nature here, it's like there's whole parts of my Scorpio friends I never realized until you say it. And I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. But no, yeah, for I don't, the thing I have said specifically is I don't want to be the mom that has a parade of boyfriends running through my
Mhm.
house while my kid is here. Like for as far as he knows, I've dated, but I have only had one boyfriend or that he's met since my divorce, and
Mhm.
all he saw was a man treat me really nice for the 3 weeks, and I regret introducing because it was only 3 weeks, but it is what it is, and like I don't want him to have that perception that you have about your mom. So it's really interesting because that you just said that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's me being a mirror for you. That's
It
what it is.
is. You're a great mirror. Thank you for your service.
You got it anytime.
I just because honestly, like I do struggle. My mom is like, she's a nerd. She's a huge nerd, but she was only with my dad, after college. And then she was divorced for six, she wasn't, her divorce was even final, but she was separated from my dad for 6 months. They were married 17 years. And then my stepdad, she met my stepdad, he was our insurance agent. So my dad's best friend, one of his best friends, was their insurance agent when they were married, and she wanted to switch because she didn't want the house. She didn't want anyone feeding information back, So she asked one of the neighbors like for an insurance referral, and then sent over my stepdad. He made a house call, and then they started dating. And that's been 30 some years. They're married now, and they had a rocky road,
Mhm.
but she never has been with anyone else besides those two people. Those are literally, she had a high school boyfriend, but she had three boyfriends her whole life. So, but in my perception, and I don't think it's true, but from my perception, she needed someone to take care
Mhm.
of her. You know what I mean? And so I didn't want to be like that. And I am independent, but I've noticed since the divorce now, I I was never like this before, or maybe I was, but I wasn't. I don't know, getting as much attention. I don't know how to say it, but I had to realize like there's not been a moment that I'm not talking to someone. Even now it's hard because like a random ex-boyfriend from that I haven't heard from January texted me out of the blue Manda yesterday, and I just didn't answer him because I can't be talking to people. I just need to not. Like unless they're going to marry me and move in.
That's how I feel. But mind you, I think if there is I don't feel scared to meet anybody or like be with anybody else. I think if there is any fear, it's that like I know that I have hurt people because of my
Mm,
person. And like there was someone who I used to see like a long time ago, and he still keeps in touch with me. And like every once in a while I'll hear from him, and he's like, "Oh, we should get together." And like I was like, "Oh, that'd be good for me, like if I like went out and just like, hang out with somebody else." But I was like, I know that he cares about me. And I
yeah.
was like, I would leave him in a second.
Hmm.
Like I would. And like that's so hurtful. Like I can't do that again. Like I've done it to him already. Like, I can't do it to him
Yeah.
again. Like that's so cruel. Like I would never do that to anybody. So I think that's the only like fear, but it's not a fear. It's just I wouldn't do that to somebody, you know?
Yes, that's specifically why I took time off dating, because my last breakup in July, I remember there was a moment. Here's where it is. I thought I was okay and over it enough because I knew there was nothing for me, right? And he did come back while I was with the other guy, and he said he wanted me to be his partner and blah, blah, blah. He was drunk, so who knows if he meant it or not, but whatever. He said all the things, and that day I blew him off. I was like, I've got his kids here with my son. Like, we've got family stuff play. I cannot come over and talk to you about our relationship today of all days. Like I am in the middle of a relationship. I'm like, go talk to whoever you've been talking to for the 2 weeks I haven't heard you in. And he was like, no, Ange, my dad's wife left him. I've been dealing with this. So it was a mirror for him. And so I get that something changed if he was ready to talk, but I was like, that I can't this day. So, but after that, I was emotionally, that really, I think I cried for 2 days. And my boyfriend at the time was very, very understanding because I was like, this guy popped up and he kind of messed with my head, and I'm okay, I'm good, I'm in, but like, I just need to. So I was off for a couple days, first of all, because of that. And then, ultimately, when it came to a conversation where we kind of got in our first fight 3 weeks in, where it was like, we had to sit down and talk about issues. When he started naming some stuff didn't, that he was unhappy with, and it was the same things that this person had always said too. I literally was, I think he was saying he wanted to take a break to kind of like, I don't know, he wanted to like break up but still be friends and kind of see if we could heal those parts of us and then work again on it. And I just got up and started packing all my stuff in his house into my truck and left because I was like, fuck it. If it's not you anyway. You're not even my person. I'm not going to do this. Like, I think we check out sooner too, even if we're trying to move on. And I know there was a point in the boyfriend before that that I had in May where I was at his house and he kind of started like doing, I don't know, he just said something I didn't love, and I just was fucking emotionally gone because I was like, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna do. And his house was the exact same layout as
I
the
remember
the
that.
twin flame. I know. So
I
I think
remember that.
that's when I was like, I need to knock this shit off because we technically both those boyfriends broke up with me, but one could argue I was gone the moment I was like, I wish this was someone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think for me, it's like that's what happened when I was married. Like the whole time I was like,
Mm-hmm. You're not
you're
him.
not it. Like and I love my like husband. He was my best friend. And like I'm so glad that I was with him during that time. Cause if I was by myself, I don't like it probably would have been so much worse like
Yeah.
than it was, like just being with someone who did care about me.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. And then when like we were splitting up, I was like, I don't know what to say. Like this just we shouldn't have done this. And
Yeah.
he was so hurt, like reasonably, like very like very hurt. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's my fault. Like this is my fault. Like I just shouldn't have signed you up for this, or like we shouldn't have
Yeah.
done this. And he's so happy now, which like
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, you will be fine. I was like, you're going to meet somebody, like you're going to be fine. And he totally is. So, but at first when he was like obviously upset, like it was just pure guilt.
Yeah.
Cause like I knew, and like, I don't want to do that to anybody.
Yeah. I it's I knew that before I even met. I will say though, I don't feel anymore now. I don't feel that anymore. Like now I'm genuinely in a place where, because I mean, he did. I said what I needed to say to end things on Sunday, and he texted me Tuesday already, and I just didn't answer because I don't have anything more to say. I'm very much done. We'll see if I eat my words, but I don't think I've ever done this before where I've never not answered him before ever in the whole 2 years, you know? Um, because I don't feel beholden to him like he's the only one that can make me happy anymore like I did um the prior 2 years. Sounds crazy. But I know now that I need to look at enough of my stuff to like I see like some of where I get a little too codependent still, even after I've done all this healing, I need to spend a little more time on that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm more open to like I'm not going to go back on dating apps right now, but like I used to that's what I did is I used dating apps because I could find a new boyfriend within a week. It was just so easy. But that's a band-aid.
Yeah. I can't. There's a part of me that like wishes I could, but I just don't want to. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather be by myself.
Yeah, it's I right now need to focus on me. And it's like because of all of the time spent crying on the couch and I take baths, I do other stuff, but no, that's why sometimes I don't know. So sometimes I'm on live and a new person, or it's not even just live, it's in real life too. People sometimes meet me and they're like, "Oh my God, we would have such a blast. Like, let's hang out," or "I wish I lived close so we could go out. We would like we would I don't know, insinuating that I would be going out with people and painting the town or whatever you do and being like wild. I was like, if you saw what my daily life is like, that is not. I'm barefoot in the backyard. Yeah, and throwing flowers into the river, crying and praying.
I
I
love that.
know. It's like most of my days literally meditation and prayer, just like talking to spirit. Because I I spent 40 years fucking miserable, Amanda. Like I am talking miserable, and it's just like I can't go back to that. So if this is what I need to do to keep me whole, like I'm gonna fucking do it. And if a relationship, f can fill in those parts in the middle of it, then okay.
Right.
But otherwise, no. I think it's. Oop, you cut out again. I can't hear you.
But I think since that hasn't happened for me, like I think I'm just supposed to be by myself right now, which
Yeah,
is
same.
like, I'm fine.
I
I'm good.
know. It is what it is. Like it kind of sucks sometimes, but it's like I think I'm getting what I need to get out of it. So, So that's where you're at right now, is just living your life. And if, do you think that you end up with him still though?
I don't know. I I don't know. I think I can't see it working out any other way. Like I
Yeah.
can't see me being with somebody else. I just can't.
Yeah.
Um and I hope that I'm not alone for forever. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's hope or just like a gut feeling. I mean, I heard from him again
Yeah.
a few days ago, but it's the same thing. And I'm like, I'm not doing this either. So,
Yeah. I hate the conversations of there's no action or substance. And I struggle with if that's impatience on my part or if it's not, but it's like I don't really want to just fucking check in via text with someone
yeah.
once every couple weeks or with it in a nothing conversation or even a phone call. Like I don't know why that's not enough for me, but if it's not in real life, I don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah. Especially with him specifically. Like I've set my intentions with him. Like I've
Yeah.
told him, like this is what I want. So, if you can't offer that to me, like that's fine, but I'm not going to do anything else. It's just like a
Yeah.
waste of our time. Um, Especially like if he needs to be with somebody else in this life, like to be happy, like then he needs to go find that and not,
Yeah.
quit wasting your time with me. If
So then
that's
what is he saying when he reaches out? Just checking in like stuff or even like though you've said that's not what you want?
Yeah, so the past two so we like we were together, we went into a separation back in June. Um when we had like a whole conversation about like what we were doing and like what
Yeah.
was going on. And I've heard from him twice since then. And both times he like wanted to see me and he was like, "Well, can you come over?" And I was like, "For what?"
Yeah.
He's like, "We'll just come hang out." I was like, "No. Like I don't just want to come hang out at your house. Like I need you to like offer." And I feel conflicted about that because he's so bad with emotions that I'm like, I don't know if you asking me to come over is because you want to talk to me more in person.
Right.
But if you do want to, I just need you to tell me that before I come out there.
Yeah.
Um, and it was the same thing just a few days ago. He
Yeah.
was like, "Can you come over?" And I was like, "For what?
Right.
Like, what do you want?" And he's like, "I just want to see you. Like, I want you to come over." And I was like, "That's not enough. Like, that's just not
Yeah.
enough."
Yeah. I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same way because that's all it ever is. And it's like, or I find myself there for my person like that. Like, I just would find myself at his house and he'd just be bitching about his ex-girlfriend and his job. And like, he'd just sit there, like, and then he'd be like, "Thank you so much. You're my rock." And it's like, well, what am I getting out of this? I just feel like I should charge you for, a
Yeah.
44-minute session.
Yeah, do it. Send him a Venmo
I-
request.
I've actually done that before. That didn't.
Yeah, so
Ugh.
um like I still feel conflicted in the sense of like, should I go and just see if anything happens? And if not, like I'll turn around, like I'll leave.
Yeah.
But I also need him to grow up. Like I need him
Yes.
to be who like it's not that much to say like, "Hey, I want to talk to you. Can we meet up? Can you come here?" Like, it's not that
Yeah.
hard. Like,
I
like
agree.
so if I'm asking for the bare minimum, I don't think, bars on the floor. So if we can if we can get there, that would be good.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I don't know if I've told you about that. Like, it the other guy that I've also dated for this past like year and a half, is like he has been saying for the past couple weeks that he wants to try to fix things, but we have this same problem of for him, it's he wants to have the conversation, he wants to talk about whatever, but it's scheduling, which busy in itself is a defense mechanism, okay? So, but he was like, "I'm asking you just," he's also had real life stuff happen, but it's a good mirror because he said something like, it's can you I just need some patience and understanding. And he was like, "With you, it feels like it's everything all at once right now or never." And I said, "No, but it has to be sometime." Like I feel like I've been patient. It's been a year and a half since I met you. We haven't been able, you know what I mean? Like and for him, it's even like you guys for a while were spending consistent time together, but like he doesn't have time, and I'm like, well, then you just don't have time, and that's fine. But like, I also want a family, and that's the thing is, you can shit on me for wanting a family. I already have a child. I already have a child. I'm doing family stuff all the time. It's
Hmm.
much more nice to do that with a partner and potentially other children over there. Like whatever. I don't need to have another kid, but do you know what I mean? Like that's not
Yeah.
and like, every time I ask, he has stuff, or the couple times he asks, I happen to have my son, but it's never like a schedule that gets nailed down. So it's just like, then that's why it does make me want to run away and leave. And I don't know if that's wrong. I think in your case, it's definitely you're doing the right thing. But like, but I have this, I keep getting this mirrored back to me in different guys where it's like, they think I'm asking for too much when I just want to spend in real life time consistently.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not too much.
Yeah. And that's how I feel. And I think it also could be a real perception because I know he and I, it's been 10 years. So like what our one conversation, I said we were talking about like dating or whatever, like in general. And I was like, you and I don't have the luxury of like casually dating. Like
Yeah.
we like that's not gonna be a thing. Like it's kind of gonna be um like 0 to 100 or nothing. Like it is kind
Yes.
like we're kind of past the point of like just casually getting to know each other.
You've
That's
already
not
done that. Yeah, it's
it's not
done.
like a luxury we have. And I think that does freak him out because it is, you know, it's kind of all in or or nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about like I feel the same thing. It is like all or nothing. And I remember I called him out in like our last conversation and I was like, I think that's why you do this. I think it's because you're scared that it'll be real and you'll mess it up and it's actually over. And when we do this like in between thing, you have the luxury of going back and forth.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not doing that. And he was like so stunned that,
Yeah.
that I said that. And I was like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm not gonna do it.
I'm in the same place. I'd rather, and honestly though, I think I can't tell because there's an anxiety that sits in me when I'm in this in between with someone, but I think it's not because I can't be alone. It's because I'm not standing in my power because this isn't what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I like honestly, if someone can't the same way you named about your schedule, and I have one that's a lot more air sign than that, where it's not it's in my head, but I can move my schedule around anyone. Okay, if you can't do that, if you can't find spaces for me, all I really need someone to say is like, here are kind of the times this week I would be able to see you, and then I can work around that. And if you can't do that, then it's not a reciprocated relationship.
Right.
Yeah, and with the intention of also moving forward into this family type thing. Both of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just don't have time for the in between. I just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's not, and I don't think that's a wounded place to be. I think that's from a place of knowing what you want and just like sitting in your power over that, right?
Hmm. And I think that's probably something I think that's part of my like healing. And again, it wasn't like conscious or anything. I think for so long, I always like allowed our dynamic to be what like worked for him. And it was like coming from a place of love because I know he doesn't have like the capacity,
Hmm.
like he doesn't have like the emotional availability. And that was the thing for so long. But now I'm like, we're old, like we are adults. Like you need to like get your life together. And if that's something you can't offer or like do for me, then we're wasting our time. So like I'm kind of done like letting it slide. It wasn't I always knew what I was doing, but I was doing it from what I thought was a place of love. But really, the most loving thing I can do for him is like let him grow up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Enabling never helped anyone, right?
No,
Oh, I love you. I'm gonna
I love
wrap it
you.
up because I've got a shamanic in 15, but thank you for talking with me today, and
You got it. Always happy to talk to you.
love you, love you. I'll talk to you
Love you.
later.
Sounds good. Bye.
Okay, bye.